So right here are the two cheapest 9mm pistols, at least in my area, that I've seen on a consistent basis. And I'm talking about for sale new guns that are commonly seen on the shelves. And I know that's a little bit subjective right now, being mid February 2021, considering the situation we're in. But for the most part, at least over in my neck of the woods, I've seen these things consistently, and they tend to be the cheapest. So of course, Hi-Point C9, and then this is a Taurus G3C, but this can represent the G2C as well. The G2Cs are actually a little bit cheaper. The G3Cs I've seen before all of the craziness happened. As a baseline, I've seen them for around $225. The G2C, I've seen them on sale for $199. And it just kind of, there's going to be a little bit of variance there. The C9, averaging right around 150 bucks, maybe a little bit less, maybe a touch more. Some of the people that are selling them for a little bit more, I wouldn't buy one for that much. I know it's kind of a crazy time right now, but if you're going to spend that much, if you're going to get upwards near the $200 range for a Hi-Point, then forget about buying a Hi-Point and go with the Taurus. Whether it's the G3C or a full-size G3 or a G2C or a G2S that I've also seen the single stack version, which I've seen them and they're pretty cheap, but I haven't seen a lot of them. So in any case, these are the two right here, and I just wanted to put them side by side to just kind of show you the difference between the two. And I know you're familiar with them, so I don't want to go into the in-depth. I'll just go over a couple things. 10-round magazine right here and 12-round magazine, so only a couple rounds difference. Granted, the Hi-Point comes with an 8-round magazine as standard, but the 10-rounders, this is a factory 10-rounder. And typically, I haven't had too much issue finding them. Again, right now, that might be a little bit subjective because of what's going on. So, you can buy pretty decent guns for pretty cheap. Again, these are the two cheapest that are typically for sale. Now, I know there are some other different outliers out there, but I just don't see them commonly on the sales shelves of the sporting goods outfit stores around here and the gun stores and such. So, overall, out of the two, the better deal is going to be the G3C, obviously. It's just a better gun. It's more suited for concealed carry and home defense. It has better ergonomics, better features, better trigger, better operation. The reliability is a little bit better. Now, with that said, the one thing I still think that kills the Hi-Point is their magazines. I know it's a very simple blowback design, and that could create some issues, especially when you first buy it and you got to break it in a little bit. But I think it's the magazines that are mostly the culprit. I've had good Hi-Point magazines, and I've had magazines that were just horrible. And I think that's where you get a lot of the issues, like the nosedive issues. Those that have Hi-Points know exactly what I'm talking about. The various failure to feed type stuff. And it's just from those magazines. The magazines are so inexpensive, and the consistency is there, but it's not as it should be, in my opinion. So I think the greatest thing, I think if Hi-Point was able to really focus all their efforts on the magazine and create a very solid magazine, even if it drives the price up $10, $20 per gun or something like that. I'm just spitting it out of my mouth. I have no idea about business and research and development and all that crap and what it would take to change out magazine manufacturing, procedures and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm just kind of spitting that out, an extra $10, $20 per pistol overall. I'd be willing to pay that if you could give me a magazine that's a little bit more consistent. So now I know the magazines for the carbines are pretty decent. The 10-round magazines for the carbine, but that just doesn't translate over to the handgun that well. So in any case, I think that's just the failure point of the Hi-Points. If you get good magazines, then awesome. But if you get some that are kind of crappy, then you'll have a lot of issues. The Taurus doesn't have that issue with their magazines. So if you get one of these G3Cs, their magazines overall are just, I haven't had any issues with the G3C or the G3. When I had the G2s, the 9mm and the 40 caliber version, I've had those a long time ago. I never had any issues with their magazines either. It'd be kind of interesting to grab another 40 caliber. The 40 caliber is kind of one of those weird animals for Taurus. It just doesn't seem to be that popular. The 40 caliber overall isn't that popular anymore, and I get it. But that's kind of another thing I may talk about in another video here shortly. That's kind of a neat find, is getting into a 40 caliber pistol, because you can still find them for kind of cheap. Granted, the ammo is hard to find, just like everything else. But if you buy from a good store, same with the 9mm, if you buy with a good store that is planning things correctly, typically what they will do is when you buy a 9mm or whatever, they'll tell you, hey, you want some ammo? They keep some boxes in the back that they don't sell, so that way they can offer 1 or 2 boxes to people that are actually buying guns. And I think that's a good practice. That really is. Not all stores do that, but I kind of give kudos to the stores that do. At least one box. It's just something nice to say, hey, I got this Hi-Point. Hey, you want a box of Full Metal Jackets? They may not have self-defense ammo, but hey, a box of Full Metal Jackets, just so that way you have something walking out of the door to either go shoot or whatever. So just look around. Again, your areas might be different, so feel free to comment in the section below what you're seeing. But right now on the market, I've seen these are the 2 least inexpensive models right now, the C9 and the Taurus, and that's just kind of widespread, at least in my area that I've seen. I know I've seen Jimenez every once in a while. I think that's more common in gun shows that I've seen those. Taurus has a couple different variants between the G3C, the G2C, the G2S. There's a little bit of variance there. But as far as, the other one that I've seen that I don't have in here is the Sky, the CPX 9mm. Those are around the same price point, but I don't see those as often as I see these. And that may change. There's been a couple times I've seen them, maybe, and that was just recently. I don't know if they were just in the case because just people haven't bought them yet. The Sky series is a great lineup, but that long trigger tends to dissuade a lot of people. But their new model might change that. But anyway, so feel free to comment. Let us know what you guys and gals see. As far as just, I didn't really want to go into the difference between these two, but you can kind of see a line there just from, the design aspect between the two. This is, pretty much the cheapest 9mm on the market. It has been for a long time. It's very basic, and it hasn't been changed much. It's kind of like Glock. They sell, and they're going to keep selling. So there hasn't been a whole lot put into changing the stuff, because if you have something good, why would you change it? It takes a lot of money to change. It takes a lot of time. So if you have something that works, there's no reason to change. The Taurus, these models are a little bit newer, and I think they're really got a good thing going with these, and I hope they keep it up. These things are awesome. The G3 series especially. The G2 was pretty good. The G3s are just epic. And you can kind of see the difference between the two. For just a little bit more in price, this is what you're getting, but this is still one of the cheapest 9mm I'm seeing on the market. So just some food for thought. Feel free to chime in with what you guys think. And with that said, I hope everyone out there is staying safe in all this crazy weather and all this crazy times out there. And thank you for watching.